So imagine being stranded in the middle of the ocean, days without food, days without hope, and you only have one terrifying choice left to make. Do you let everyone die? Or do you sacrifice one to save the rest? What would you do? This isn't just a hypothetical question. This is the real life horror faced by four men in 1884. Thomas Dudley, Edwin Stephen, Edmund Brooks, and Richard Parker were stranded on a lifeboat in the middle of the ocean after their yacht was wrecked during a storm. They were without food and water, drifting aimlessly for days. After about 2 weeks and with no rescue in sight, they were severely dehydrated, starving, and close to death. Faced with this dire situation, Dudley and Stephen proposed a desperate decision to kill the youngest and weakest among them, 17-year-old Richard Parker, in order to use his flesh as food to save the others. They reasoned that Parker was already close to death and that was the only way they could survive. On the 20th day, after Parker had fallen into coma, Dudley and Stephen killed him. The three survivors fed on Parker's body for the next 4 days. See, it was a decision driven by the sheer instinct to survive. They believed it was the only way, and so with a heavy heart and shaking hands, they ended Parker's life, hoping it would buy them just a few more days. 4 days later, they were rescued alive. Back in England, they were charged with murder. The law was clear. Taking an innocent life is a crime, no matter the circumstances. Dudley and Stephen argued that they had no choice, that it was either one death or four, but the court was unmoved. They were found guilty, though their death sentences were reduced to 6 months in prison. This case, known as R and Dudley and Stephen, has since become one of the most famous legal dilemmas in history, illustrating the clash between law and morality. Where do we draw the line between what is legally right and what is morally acceptable? The law is designed to protect life, to maintain order, and to uphold justice. But what happens when the rigid rules of law clash with the messy, complicated realities of life? In Dudley and Stephen's case, the law took a firm stance. No one has the right to take another person's life, regardless of the circumstances. But morally, many struggled with this ruling. Many people reasoned, after all, wasn't it a matter of survival? Couldn't their action be seen as a tragic necessity rather than a cold-blooded crime? This tension between law and morality forces us to question the very nature of justice. Should the law be absolute with no room for exception, or should it be flexible enough to consider the complexities of human experience? If you were in their situation, starving, hopeless, with death just a day away, what would you do? Would you follow the law, or would your survival instinct take over? And do you think the court was right in upholding the law? Let me know your thoughts. This is a conversation we all need to have.